I give myself a hard time for a lot of things. I think I'm lazy. I think I'm unproductive. I don't think I'm proactive enough. But when I dig into it, I often realise the truth is the opposite of what I think. So, actually, this idea that I'm lazy, for instance, I find it really hard to not be active. I'm nearly always busy. I'm nearly always working. I'm nearly always doing things. And the idea that I'm unproductive, I'm always getting stuff done. Um, and as far as not being proactive, in a lot of ways, I might be too proactive. But what do I mean by proactive? Well, I feel like I should be thinking all the time about what the next opportunity is. Where's the next piece of work going to come from? What's my long-term plan? What am I trying to do? What's my brand? How am I going to market things? And I feel like I should be going out there constantly and looking for opportunities. But I feel like what actually happens is people just come to me with suggestions for things to do, and I go, yeah, all right then, because that's the path of least resistance. And then I worry that I'm just saying yes to things without thinking about it. Like at the back of my mind is this idea that I should be always assessing and planning and evaluating. But I was talking to my friend Kyle the other day, and he mentioned the idea of Zen. He talked about the idea that some people think that most of us are striving too hard to control everything. And he talked about the idea that you're going to get dragged along by events, whether you like it or not, no matter how much you try to control everything and be in charge of all the things that are happening in your life. You're just going to get dragged along by life anyway. And I can't remember exactly what words he used, but he painted a picture that made me think of being dragged along in a fast-flowing river. And the idea that the current is going really fast and you're going to get dragged along anyway. And if you try to fight it, you're going to get banged against all the rocks and all of the things that are in the river and banged along the riverbed. And the alternative is to just relax and enjoy the water and enjoy the journey. I mean, to be honest, I can't remember exactly what picture he painted, and I'm kind of thinking that the fast-flowing river's not a great example, because I feel like if you throw yourself into a fast-flowing river, you're probably going to get pretty badly injured, and you could end up dying if the current's too fast, and there isn't really any way that you can just relax and enjoy that ride. So I need to come up with a better metaphor. But the idea is that if you just let things happen, then you might just be able to enjoy the ride. And often control is an illusion anyway. Often you think that you're in charge of everything and you're trying to control everything, and you feel like if you could work out exactly what you're supposed to do and have a really good plan, then everything would be brilliant. But it doesn't matter how much planning I do, I can still end up being miserable. And the opposite can also be true. When I let things just happen, I can be really happy or I can be miserable. So much so that I start to wonder whether it doesn't really make much difference. Whether you feel like you're in control, whether you're not in control, you enjoying the ride and having a good time is maybe not a lot to do with whether you're in control or not. I don't know, but I tend to build up the idea of control in my mind into this kind of giant insurmountable task. So, for instance, I feel like I should be spending time working out exactly what I'm doing with my career and working out exactly what the best opportunities are, and having a grand plan. But just that job of coming up with this grand plan and analysing and evaluating feels like such an enormous task that I put it off and I don't do it. And so it never happens. What I tend to do is build it up into too big of a thing so it becomes impossible to do, rather than just thinking, well, maybe I could get a balance. Maybe I could just do a little bit of planning, but maybe I could also enjoy opportunities that come my way and make the most of them, rather than worry about being too reactive or not proactive enough. And particularly with a butterfly brain like mine, I've always got new ideas. I'm always coming up with new things that I could do. And in my experience, for me, probably because I've got ADHD, if I try to come up with really long-term plans, pointless, because 6 months into the long-term plan I've already come up with some other completely different new idea, and I'm zipping off in that direction, and whatever the plan was has gone out of the window. And actually that butterfly part of my brain quite enjoys not knowing what comes next. I like adventure. I like the idea that things might be constantly changing, and I don't have to be constantly in control and planning everything down to the last minute. It's actually fine to just get pulled along for the ride.